A very happy Monday and welcome to the Early Edge. I see the chat is already popping off. A lot of people benefited from our golf picks on the Early Wedge on SportsLine. I have been crushing these alt events. We'll get to that in a second. Let's take a look at how we did on Friday. It looks like we crushed it on Friday as well. I lost my golf matchup, my 3-ball, thanks to Keegan Bradley, but Buckets 2-0. Mike McClure and Chip Patterson 1-0. That Justin Rose play plus 200. We really did well on Friday and through the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a great week. We got MLB back. We still got Summer League going. We'll have soccer all week as well. I see Bradley Jacobs is in the chat fielding soccer questions already. Let's bring in the stars of the show because the vibes are very high right now. I'm even going to put in, for this show, I'm gonna give out an early 3M Open pick like I've been doing the last couple of weeks to kind of preview the early wedge. Larry, you just came back from Las Vegas, which just is very cool. You were there. You were delayed, were you not, because of the flight delays and the CrowdStrike thing on Friday? So you got to stay an extra couple of days. How did that feel?
Yeah, I mean, there are worse places to get stuck than Vegas for an extra 2 days. Had plenty of people to see, plenty of cards to play. But no, it was a great time out there. Registered for all the contests. You can tell football is getting, is just upon us with the way things are starting to pick up in the book.
Sniper, are you starting to get jealous because we're like 45 days away from football season, and now you're starting to hear the rumblings like, yeah, baseball's great and everything, but NFL's right around the corner.
Well, there's no jealousy here. I mean, baseball is work, and it is my passion, but I'm also a big football fan, so I'm getting excited.
Your team is the Bears, correct?
Yes.
Proppy, we are a month and a half away from the NFL season. Can I ask you, because I didn't know I was going to ask Sniper that question. I just want to, before we get to our picks, and Sniper, you're going to lead us off with a couple of MLB plays. I find the NFC North unbelievably intriguing because, obviously the Bears look pretty good, but then the Vikings, you're not sure what you're going to get from them. And then, of course, the two teams at the top, Green Bay and Detroit, I think are both Super Bowl contenders, very legitimate Super Bowl contenders. What are your thoughts on that division real quick before we get started on the day?
I certainly agree. One of the more competitive divisions in the NFL. However, I differ from you, Sia, in that I believe the Packers are a massive fade candidate. I know that's going to be against consensus opinion there. I do love the Detroit Lions. I think they're a viable Super Bowl contender. Obviously, the Bears look a lot better on paper. I'm also a bit believer in the Vikings. But yeah, I think the Packers are in store for potentially a disappointing season. But I do think this is an excellent division.
That'd be such a shame.
There's
so heartbroken.
Well, listen, we'll see how it plays out because, they can't all be good, right? I mean, there's going to be some teams that are good in the NFC North and some teams that perhaps bottom out. I like plus 1,900 for the Packers only because I think they made some nice upgrades on the defensive side. I mean, Xavier McKinney on the back end, but other upgrades as well. And I just don't know that this offense can be stopped. But I will say, Larry, I think you like the Lions this year quite a bit. I mean, the Lions are the better team. It's just a matter of what odds you like better. Larry, your quick response on the Lions or the NFC North?
Yeah, and I was gratified to watch the early edge on CBS Sports Network from Vegas, where RJ White sided with me in picking the Lions to not only win the division, but also win the NFC. I mean, this team, when you bring back all the coordinators who probably, Ben Johnson should have gotten a head coaching job, and then you repair the one issue they had, which was the secondary, I think they're stacked and ready to do it.
Yeah, speaking of CBS Sports Network, that show that took place Thursday at 2:00, it is in your YouTube feed, is in your podcast feed. So don't forget, if you want to, there's so many places to go to kind of get prepared for the NFL season. We've got the team-by-team previews. We've got a lot of NFL content on sportsline.com. But don't forget, that show was packed, and it was an NFC show specifically for an hour long where we had Proppy and guys like RJ White, Mike McClure, Katie Mox talking about the NFL, NFC in particular. Please go back and listen to that because that's how you need to prepare going in, not only to the NFL betting season, but the fantasy football season as well, because there's a ton of crossover there. All right, Sniper. We got to get off football. It's been 5 minutes, and we haven't gotten an MLB bet out there yet, and the chat wants to know. Danny Brasco's in the chat, by the way. Say hello to him. Hit the like button if you could. Let's talk some MLB, Sniper.
Well, hey, what's up, Danny? I am going to go to the Yankees game. Unfortunately, it's going to be to fade a Yankee, specifically Carlos Rodon. I'm going to go Rays over 3.5. I thought that was low. I thought it was going to be 4.5. Rays over 3.5 runs here. We're fading Carlos Rodon. Last 6 starts, 9.67 ERA. The Rays got him for 4 runs in 4 innings on July 9th. That's a quick turnaround. They just saw him, so they know what his stuff looks like right now, and it's not very good. And by the way, Sia, that's for you. Randy Arozarena out of the break, 6 for 13 with 2 doubles and 3 home runs. If you're looking for an individual player to go with right now, Arozarena would be a good one. He doubled off Rodon in the first inning last time they saw each other. Also, going to go with the Reds, going to go to Atlanta, and the Reds at the Braves. Hunter Green over 6.5 strikeouts. He has 17 strikeouts in 13 innings in his last 2 outings. He hasn't started since July 11th. He did throw the 1 inning in the All-Star game. He actually took the loss. He gave up the home run to Jarren Duran, which was the thing that swayed the game. But that's like a throw day. So overall, he's pretty well rested. I like him on the rest here in Atlanta. The Braves are reeling. Ozzie Albies, they just lost for about 8 weeks. They've already lost Ronald Acuna Jr. for the season. The Braves are top 8 in baseball in strikeout percentage. Much worse versus right-handed pitching versus left-handed pitching. Key lefties who would need to step up against right-handers would be Ozzie Albies, who is a switch hitter, but he's hurt. Matt Olson, who's having the worst year of his career. Hunter Green's better on the road, a 2.53 ERA versus a 3.94 at home. Hunter Green in Truist Park, 17 strikeouts in 11 innings in his career. I really like him in this spot. So we're going to go Hunter Green over 6.5 strikeouts.
All right. We had David talk in the chat. This is kind of a corollary to your play, Sniper. Tampa Bay first 5 over 1.5. He mentions the Rays hitting lefties really well. So I assume you kind of like that one too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think they're going to jump on Rodon pretty quick.
All right. I love that. Arozarena over 1.5. Hits, runs, RBIs at -115, says Big Cheesy. Jared Moreau says Angels, Mariners, no run first inning. And Danny Brasco says Rodon is a prime fade candidate. So like hearing that as well. A lot of synergy in the chat. Looking for more picks. If you have a pick, drop it in the chat. And maybe you want to bet it at BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got more picks coming up next, including an early 3M Open outright. But before we get there, quick message from our partners. We're back on the early edge presented by BetMGM. Fun day yesterday, says Taylor DeHart. Thanks again to Sia with those alt event cashes. Just to summarize, I might get some of this wrong because I might be leaving something out, but we hit the 45-1 on Nick Dunlap yesterday. We hit the 60-1 on Ben Silverman on Thursday evening. And then last week, we hit the 60-1 on Pearson Coody. The week before that, we hit the 22-1 on Davis Thompson. And the week before that, we had a live bet on Cam Davis that got us up to around 9 or 10-1, depending on whether you used a boost or not from BetMGM. So we have been absolutely rolling. And I'm going to give out a 3M Open pick today. But before we get there, Proppy, we got to go to more baseball. You also have 2 plays for tonight. What are they?
I do indeed, Sia. Yeah, starting with the Phillies on the road in Minnesota, I am fading Ranger Suarez. I'm going under 17.5 pitching outs. That's fewer than 6 innings pitched. Ranger Suarez has really been struggling. He's given up 15 earned runs over his last 3 starts. 2 of those 3 starts came against the Miami and Oakland, so not exactly good competition, facing a Twins team that not only is an excellent home team where they have nearly an 800 OPS, they've been the best offense in baseball since June 1st. They're also elite against opposing left-handed pitching. where they own the second highest OPS. So this is a tough spot for Ranger, who's really been struggling to go late into games. The Twins are missing a few batters today, Carlos Correa, but I think this is just a really good spot to fade him, especially at plus money. I think this one ends up closing around minus 135 as well. So I jump on this quickly. And then I'm going to go to the Mariners versus the Angels. I'm going to go over 4.5 strikeouts for Mariners pitcher Bryce Miller. I like the spot for Bryce Miller quite a bit. First and foremost, he has some of the more drastic home versus road splits in Major League Baseball. His ERA is nearly 3 runs lower at home, and even is applicable to his K rate. He has like a 1.1 K rate at home. It's about 0.7 on the road. So he gets a lot more strikeouts in Seattle, which is obviously one of the premier pitching parks. So it makes sense. He's got some great career numbers against the Angels, 13 strikeouts and 26 career at-bats, including a start earlier this season where he had a 9K performance in about 6 innings. So like going over 4.5 Ks for Bryce Miller. I'd play that to about minus 165. Love Ranger Suarez under 17.5 outs against the Twins. I'd play that to about minus 125.
All right. Let me ask you this, Proppy, and then Sniper, I'm going to go to you as well. Tanner Houck, this is a game I was actually considering. I do have a golf pick to give out, which is, of course, it's going to be a few days removed from today. But Propstars, do you like Tanner Houck over 17.5 outs? I wasn't going to go with this. I was actually going to go with, you can't really take the Red Sox here. I mean, you can, but it's like minus 165, minus 170. I was going to go with Tanner Houck to record the win. And I know, Sniper, that's a bet that sometimes you flirt with. It was plus 100. I figured because we saw Sunday Night Baseball yesterday, that bullpen had to come in for the Red Sox. I figured Tanner Houck will probably be pitching, I don't know, a few outs longer perhaps than maybe he ordinarily would. He's been pretty good this year. Obviously, he's been pretty good lately. Your thoughts on the over 17.5 outs? And then Sniper, I'm going to get your opinion on this game as well. Proppy, you first.
Yeah, I definitely lean over. I guess it would just basically come down to the price point. I'd imagine it's fairly juiced considering how it's gone late. As you also mentioned, the Red Sox bullpen being a little bit depleted. So I do think they'll need him to go 6 innings. But yeah, I'd certainly lean over.
Sniper.
No, absolutely not. It's in Colorado. I never do anything in Coors Field on pitching. It's just it's such a wild card, and I can't trust anything there. So I'm always stay away in Colorado.
And that would apply to my suggestion as well, to record the win at plus 100. Too volatile out there?
Well, the win, I guess, is a little different. As long as you think you can get through 5 innings and they're going to win, that might be the one thing I would be willing to do. I still wouldn't do it myself, but I wouldn't try to talk you out of that, I guess, is where I am.
That's Larry, that sounds like a soft lean to me. That sounds like if you have to make a bet, that's maybe the one I'd go with. All right. That's a no comment. All right, let's go to
no comment on that. But see, I will say that, I don't know what you're spending all your winnings on, the 45-1, the 60-1, and the pick that you're going to give right now. And I have my phone ready to enter it as soon as you give it. But I will say that your shirt looks a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner, might even be a new shirt that I haven't seen. So maybe that's where some of that money is going.
Maybe, it's what's great about my wardrobe is that it's very simple, but I do have to touch it up a little bit. So this is a slightly newer shirt, maybe or maybe not. Thanks to Pearson Cootie last week at 60-1 or Davis Thompson, but we're going to go right back to golf. It's Monday. These odds are going to change. And frankly, what's interesting about the odds, like they usually come out around 9 o'clock in the morning, outrights at the major books. I'm talking BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel. BetMGM hadn't posted their outrights as of like 9:30 this morning. And they're very good about it. And frankly, they typically have the better outright numbers, both in the first round leader department, finishing position department, and of course, in the outright department. So take a look at BetMGM. Maybe this is posted. I'm going to go, speaking of posting things, JT Poston to win the 3M Open at 35-1. I was going to give you a longer shot at 55-1. I'll wait for my SportsLine article, or like sort of part 1 of my SportsLine article. I'll give out a shorter shot. Perhaps it's going to be this JT Poston play and a longer shot. That'll save it for the article. And of course, early wedge tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We'll give the full complement of picks with me, EC, and Patrick McDonald. But I really like how JT Poston sets up for this course. First of all, he's got a great history here. And I do think that matters to some degree. He's going to be very comfortable here. But when you look at his metrics, even though the finishing positions have been a little checkered, he's missed some cuts. When you look at the metrics that I think matter here, the approach play, the ability to get hot with the putter, accuracy off the tee. Now, length off the tee is going to be important here too. He doesn't necessarily have that, but we know with previous 3M Opens that shorter hitters have very much succeeded here. So he's going to keep it out of the water. There's water everywhere here. So he's going to be accurate. The approach plays dialed in, especially if you look at long-term, not really, but if you look at short-term in terms of how he's trending, it looks really good. Same with the putter, same with his history. 35-1 is a very good number. Again, I wonder if BetMGM, somebody can check for me right now. Maybe they have a 35 as well, like the other books do, or maybe they have a 40 because a lot of times their odds are a little bit better. But I like this number at 35-1. I would play it down to 30-1. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if it goes down to like 28-1. The good news, though, is that this number shouldn't move a ton because there are some heavier hitters at the top of the board that are going to suck up a lot of the money. So it's something to keep in mind. This number shouldn't move too much, but I do think 35-1 is a very good number that all the sports books are offering right now. So 3M Open, my first outright, my second, third, fourth, and maybe if I add another one after that, that'll be on the early wedge, and that'll be in my SportsLine article. And we move on. Hopefully we cash another ticket for the fourth week in a row. All right, Larry. We got Summer League, which I have on my TV all the time. Like, I mean, it's, especially last week where we didn't have Major League Baseball. I just found myself, what are you going to watch, right? And there's the WNBA, which I watch, but also this NBA Summer League. There's still meat on the bone here, and you've got a pick for us.
Yeah, we got the championship game, the Heat and the Grizzlies. I laid 2 with Memphis. I'm seeing 2.5. I would still lay the 2.5. Miami has the better numbers when you look at the full course of the Summer League. But remember, Jaime Jaquez isn't playing anymore. So you got to throw out some of those net ratings and some of the point differential that they racked up early when he was playing. They're still a very solid team, a very deep team. But you talk about the best player on the floor, it's Scottie Pippen Jr. This guy is doing something in the Summer League that's never been done. That's 20 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game, making a point that he deserves a real roster spot. He was on a 2-way deal last year. Started 16 games for the Grizzlies, so he got some valuable experience alongside Gigi Jackson, who played like 40 games for the Grizzlies. Then they have Jalen Wells, their draft pick from Washington State. He's lighting it up from deep, a very good three-point shooter, over 40% in college. He was red hot yesterday. I just think that trio, as good as Ware is for the Heat and as deep as the Heat is, Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be the MVP of the Summer League, and he's going to prove it again tonight. That he should not have gone undrafted out of Vanderbilt a couple years ago.
That's incredible that Scottie Pippen Jr. is having this type of Summer League. I mean, I'm always happy to see it. If you're of a certain age, you're kind of amazed, Larry, that like some of these guys, some of these juniors are out there. And it's been like, we're of a certain age where like it's been like 10 years where we've seen these names sort of peppered in that, their fathers were excellent in whatever, the late 80s or the early 90s. You got to be surprised about the Scottie Pippen thing.
Yeah, but he's got a great game that translates because the guys love to play with him. He's very unselfish. After his triple-double yesterday, all he talked about was the layups that he missed. But if you watch him, he is penetrating, and then he is dishing to Gigi Jackson or Wells or the other guys, or he's taking it all the way. So he's just the perfect guy to play with because he's not really trying to light up the scoreboard. He's trying to be a creator.
I love that. Sniper, there were a couple questions for you. I want to focus on this one from Joseph Rackett Jr., another junior. Sniper, do you like the under 4.5 runs, first 5 Braves Reds? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Reynaldo Lopez is on the mound for the Braves against Hunter Green. I really like Hunter Green in this spot. I think my hesitation there would be I'm just waiting for the other shoe to fall with Reynaldo Lopez. He still has an ERA in the ones, and it just doesn't seem like that should be there. But the Reds just are coming off a terrible series against the Nationals. They just don't seem right now. So, yeah, that one's probably safe.
Okay, we like that. And Proppy, did you see anything in the chat that you needed to respond to before we get to the recap screen?
Just shout out to the chat.
Shout out to the chat indeed. And how about you, Larry? Anything we need to cover before we get to the recap screen?
I think we're good. I got Poston, however you pronounce it, 35-1. I'm ready to watch some golf. Let's go.
Yeah. It's JT Poston. It's not a guy I normally back. I just really like him for this course. So again,
interesting though. I just saw Mike's top 10 and Poston is not in there.
Well, give us a sneak preview. Who was his number one? Who was McClure's number one on sportsline.com?
He has Finau.
Okay, yeah, well, Finau makes sense. He's actually won the 3M Open. I believe it was 2 years ago. Great course fit. Those are going to be shorter odds. Obviously, he's the favorite in this one, but Finau is certainly a good play. Again, most people, I should say this, a lot of people who are new to this show just think that all of Sportsline picks must be on the early wedge. This is like 1/100th of the picks and the simulations that Mike McClure puts out, DFS plays, all of those things. They're all on Sportsline. This is just a microcosm of what you might see. And of course, we get a chance to really talk out our picks and get the chat picks in there as well. There was a chat question I wanted to get to, and I don't see it in here anymore. So I apologize. There was one question I was not able to get to, but I think we got to most of it. So let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. JT Poston, I got an early outright at plus 3,500. You'll get the rest of my outrights in my Sportsline article. Hopefully we can stay hot. The Sniper, Rays team total over 3.5. This game is at 1 o'clock today, folks. So we've got afternoon baseball. Sniper, Rays team total over 3.5. Like I said, and Hunter Green over 6.5 Ks at minus 125. Propstarz, Bryce Miller over 4.5 Ks at minus 146. And Ranger Suarez under 17.5 outs at plus 105. And the Maestro back to the Summer League. Grizzlies -2. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a great Monday show. Hopefully, we go just as well as we did on Friday. We were 4-1 on Friday. I was the lone loss. I'll try to fix that next time I have a daily pick. My pick, of course, will come to fruition next week for the 3M Open. But we got a lot of picks coming this week. We got a lot of baseball to watch today, some Summer League as well. Every single morning we're here for you with whatever picks we've got at 10 in the morning on the Early Edge. Thanks for being in here on behalf of Larry Hartstein, the Maestro, who spent some extra time in Vegas this week. Propstarz, the Sniper, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. This is the Early Edge. I'm the counselor. We rest our case.